Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Karen About Wrestling. I'm your host, Karen the Intern, and as usual, we have an excellent show in store for you this evening. First of all, I just want to tell you if you are looking to get tickets for any of our live shows, you can do that at 365prowrestling.com. Check out Island Main Event Tuesday and Combat, our sister shows here on 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. You want to be a volunteer, maybe check out the Pro Wrestling Academy. All of that great information is on the website as well, and you can check out our socials and reach out there. Like, subscribe, and comment. We love all that good stuff as well. All right, so without further ado, we've had my next guest on a couple times before, and looking forward to this interview to catch up, because it's been a minute. Without further ado, Maxwell Benson, Mad Max Benson. How's it going?
Well, pretty good. Still resting up, but things are going well. How about yourself?
Good. Yeah, so let's just get right into it. You mentioned you're resting up. So for those folks out there who maybe don't know what's been happening with you, can you catch everybody up?
So I completely tore my meniscus. I believe it was the end of May, and I proceeded to wrestle on a completely torn meniscus for 6 months, which apparently isn't good for your knee. So I had to get surgery. I got surgery around the middle of December. So I'm just resting up now, doing some physiotherapy, trying to get my strength back.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, it's great to hear that you are gonna hopefully make your way back. So there was a show on Saturday at the First Met Hall in Victoria. And so you attended that show, observing. Obviously, you weren't wrestling, you're still resting up. So tell us about some of the highlights. What are some things about the show on Saturday that stood out to you?
Definitely the thing that stood out to me most was Stephen Bradley taking the fight to Malik Malone. I mean, Malik's a big dude. I've been in the ring with him a couple times, but seeing Bradley lay him out definitely was a highlight of my night for sure.
Yeah, that was I heard that was pretty insane. So who else was wrestling on Saturday?
We had a lot of people out. We had quite a people out from the States. We had Bradley, as I mentioned. We had Flaming Aces, Spencer Scott, and Say Perez. And then we also had Damien Desire out as well. I'm not exactly sure where he's from, but I know he's not from the area. So I think it's pretty awesome that 365 is growing the way that we are. And especially now that we're um, just I don't know, a more prosperous area. The Pacific Northwest is finally becoming a bit more credible, and now we're seeing people actually want to come out and want to make those flights and those long car rides to wrestle on these shows, which I think is pretty cool.
That is fantastic. And yeah, the fans always love to see some kind of new faces around as well, see other talent in the area. And also, I think it's great probably for the local wrestlers too to get to, come up against some different opponents that they don't normally get to wrestle with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know personally, I'm tired of beating up Zach Andrews and Sawyer Stein. So getting some new bodies in there to put a whooping on is definitely what we need.
Yeah, for sure. And it sounds like you are just raring to get back to that as soon as possible. Hey, so um, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the new crop of students that are coming up. So they had their first matches, like, I don't know, a few weeks ago, a month ago now. Were you at that show as well?
I wasn't, but I have seen some clips, and personally, I think it's great. I think we need some new cannon fodder. We need some bodies that can just I don't know. There's so many matches on these cards that are just champions and these really critically acclaimed wrestlers, right? So I think it's good to have those rep matches where we can just go out there and beat the crap out of somebody because sometimes you need to let that out of your system. So seeing some of these new guys with little to no experience, it makes my mouth water waiting for my comeback, knowing I can just run through all of them.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess I forgot who I was dealing with because that wasn't exactly the answer I was expecting from you. But okay, that's fair, and I think that's the world of wrestling, and that's what they signed up for. So, uh,
Really.
that's yeah, that's what's going to happen. So, okay, so let's you know, maybe get a little reflective about your wrestling career thus far. So, how long have you actually been in the game for?
So I've been wrestling for about 3 years now. And I mean, I personally think it's been going pretty great. I won the combat championship 4 times. I won the NEW tag team championship, and I know there's plenty more to come. Uh, I mean, King of the X. I mean, what more can you want? I mean, being King of the Island doesn't get much better than that. And seeing so many people, so many great talents at 365, it really puts a smile on my face knowing that when I come back, I'm gonna get to have some more amazing matches. I mean, this past year, I've had matches with Judas Icarus, Eli Surge, Elliot Tyler, and knowing that I can hold my own against some of the best in Canada is definitely giving me some confidence. But I definitely still have that chip on my shoulder for when I come back.
Who is the first person you'd like to face off against when you get back in the ring? Is there anybody you have your sights set on?
Definitely Josh Cadwell.
Mm.
I've seen what he's been doing since I've been gone, and seeing him get all high up on his horse, I don't think he deserves it. He deserves a mule or something. He doesn't deserve the horse yet. He's a good wrestler, but he still needs to build his base up a little bit. So it'll be good to cut him back down once I'm back.
Okay, okay. Yeah, interesting choice of words with like cut with the scissors with the cut them. Anyway. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about like your 10-year-old self. Look back on like 10-year-old Max, and how do you think 10-year-old Max would react to Max of today being a wrestler, having achieved that goal?
I think I'd be pretty damn proud of myself because I mean, back when I was 10, I was still beating people up. I mean, it was just a part of who I was. But the thing is, now I get to do it in front of an audience. I get people that cheer for me. Mainly, they hate me, which I understand. But I got a few people that understand the good person that I am at heart, and I get paid to do it. I mean, before when I was beating people up when I was 10, I wasn't getting paid for it. Now I'm making bank off of it, and that's the big difference here.
Yeah, well, the capitalization of bullying.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, okay, okay. I was reaching there, but yeah, you agree. Okay, that's great. So what advice would you give your younger self then?
Hmm. Advice, I don't know. I mean, probably just hit him a bit harder, Just really build your strength up, get some practice shots in so that when it means something, you're ready to deck someone. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, that is good. That's do you think your 10-year-old self could handle that uh
Oh,
advice?
absolutely not. No, I'd kick my 10-year-old self's ass. I think we both know that.
Well, no,
I have no qualms about pile driving a child. Let's just make that clear.
okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. There's no children wrestlers, are there? That's not really a thing we do, right? Children.
Unfortunately not. But
No.
if there were, they would be injured and out pretty quickly.
Okay. So, what would you say is the best career decision you've made thus far?
The best career decision I made is best definitely been working for 365. 365 is growing to levels that I don't think any of us saw coming. I mean, we're packing out the first Met now. We're getting about 300 people at our shows, and it's only going to grow from here. And it's an amazing locker room. It's people that are good to be around, good to beat up. They don't complain too much. Uh, I mean, it's a neck brace here and there, doesn't really hurt anyone. You know what I mean?
Fair, fair enough. Yeah. What do you think is the worst career decision you've made thus far?
The worst career decision I've made.
If you feel comfortable sharing that.
Honestly, I can look back at every career decision I've ever made, and I can say I made the best goddamn decision anyone could make. I mean, when you look as good as I do, and when you're as smart as I am, it's really hard to mess up those decisions.
Okay. That's good. I like that level of confidence, and just like, yeah. So how do you motivate yourself to be such a prolific wrestler in 365?
Well, I think lots of people get caught up with training and they have a hard time finding motivation and consistency. And I truly believe that the most important part to being a wrestler and being someone that can wrestle on the highest levels is being consistent on the days where you don't want to go to the gym, on the days where you don't want to run. Those are the days that are the most important and you will find the most beneficial growth from. It's actually, there's a part of your brain, I believe it's the um, mid singular cortex. I might be wrong. I'll look this up afterwards and I might just cut a clip in.
Okay.
But basically, it's the part of your brain that deals with decision making, and it's also the part of your brain that seeds willpower. So basically, this part of your brain grows when you do hard things. It's not necessarily working out, it's not necessarily running, it's doing things that you don't want to do. And that's what makes it grow. So when you're consistent with things that you don't want to do, your brain gets bigger, in fact. And it's actually found that people that live longer have this size, this part of the brain is actually bigger in size. So it's actually believed that this is actually the seed to the will to live. So people that are older that have lived to 80, they have a bigger part of their brain than people that are have maybe passed away earlier. So I think that's why being consistent and staying motivated is more than just watching a video or just saying, I want to be a wrestler. I want to be great. I want to win championships. It's about being consistent and doing the things that you know you have to do day to day.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like you're saying it's more about like discipline than motivation. Because motivation seems fleeting even to me. Like if you wait around to be motivated to do something, then chances are you probably might not ever actually do it. But if you just do it as a discipline, then it's like then you get it done, right?
Exactly. And that's the big difference between you and me. That's why I'm going to be great and you won't be great because I have that discipline, right? And very few people have that discipline. It's not a slight against you that you're not at that level. It's just some people unfortunately are better than others, you know?
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I feel very put in my place at the moment. That's good. So what would you like to have accomplished by this time next year?
This time next year, I definitely want to win my fifth combat title. I
Okay.
know that the rules are changing going forward. So it's no longer going to be a regular championship. It's going to be a 24/7 championship. And that actually is going to work in my favor, I believe, because while other people, they take days off, they rest, they go on vacations with their friends, I don't do that. I'm always thinking about my next match. I'm always thinking about what I can do to be better. There are some people that they take those rest days and they let their motivation slip, but me, I'm always ready. I'm always ready for my next match. I'm always ready for the next wrestler. So it doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. or if it's 7:30 p.m. I'm gonna whoop your ass left and right, up and down the block, and keep my title. So when that title comes back, and once my knee is healed up, you better believe I'm coming back for my title.
I love that. And on that note, we are going to have to take a quick little commercial break here. Don't you guys go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caring About Wrestling and Max Benson. And we are back. You are watching Caring About Wrestling on the 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. I'm Karen the Intern, and my guest tonight is Max Benson. All right. So, segment two, here we are. We're still talking some wrestling stuff. So, wanted to talk to you a little bit about tag teams. So, you've partnered up with some folks at different times for different reasons and different matches. Is there any like tag person that you would like to maybe tag team up with, or are you really just looking to be like just a solo wrestler?
Well, I've done some pretty amazing things with Casey Ferreira. Me and him have tagged in the past, and definitely looking forward to tagging with him again. He's one of the few people that's around my age that's actually on my level, so that's really nice to have people that have that same drive and that same passion. And I mean, once me and him start clicking on some tag team stuff, once I'm back, I know we can just run through the competition. I mean, who do we have as our champions right now? Eddie Osborne and Crofton. I mean, come on, Crofton's knee is being held together by tape. I mean, I put that guy in the clover leaf. I got the match wrapped in 5 minutes. All right. So once I'm back, new tag champs, new combat champ, and hell, I might even go after the big belt while I'm at it.
Wow. So, what's the tag team called?
ULT.
ULT, and what does that stand for?
Uh, I think you can. Maybe not. I don't know. You're not that smart. Maybe if you think about it, you can figure it out.
Okay, okay. I'll be thinking about it. I'll get back to you on that. Okay. ULT. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about um I think we might have touched on it last time I interviewed you, but I think it's a great kind of story to talk about. So what kind of got you into wrestling initially? And where did you train?
So what got me into wrestling initially was just the spectacle of violence. Like seeing people get hit over the head with steel chairs, seeing people get thrown through ladders, the kendo sticks, the thumbtacks, all of it. It was just another level to violence that I hadn't reached yet, and I wanted to get to that point. And I originally started training with 365 Pro Wrestling at the Pro Wrestling Academy, and that has given me the skills to be a champion multiple times over.
Excellent. Yeah, love that story for sure. So, how long ago did you officially graduate from 365? And that was in Campbell River, correct? Or was that here in Victoria?
Yeah, that was back when we were in Campbell River, and I believe it was about 3 years ago before I debuted.
Okay, cool, cool. And do you remember what your first match was?
My first match was against Sawyer Stein,
Okay.
uh, but unfortunately we weren't able to finish the match because the slime ball Travis Williams decided to come in and jump us. So I mean, I would do the exact same thing. Two greenhorns, two fresh pieces of meat to cut up and put down. I would have done the same thing. But my first full match was with Haviko, and that one was quite fun.
Oh yeah, and who was the victor of that particular match? You.
All right, we can move on to the next question now.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so you kind of alluded to like the levels of violence that you're interested in or you feel comfortable with. Now, in the last few months or so, there's been a couple of kind of hardcore matches at 365 that were pretty crazy. And so, were you involved in any of those matches, or would that be a type of match that you would want to get involved in at some point?
Well, I have been involved in plenty of hardcore matches in the past. I had my no holds barred match with Rose, where I beat Rose completely clean with no help. And I also had two Chairway to Hell matches, one with Jordy Taylor and one with Inferno, which I both won. So I'm 2-0 in Chairway to Hell matches. So kind of my match. And yeah, I mean, the more violent I can be, the more at home I feel. So I mean, a regular match to me feels somewhat limiting because I can't unleash my violence to the capacity that I want to.
Crazy. So, what about like fans bring the weapons match type situation? Are you into that sort of thing?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you see some of the crazy weapons fans bring. I mean, I've seen I've seen some crazy stuff. And that's my favorite part about fans bring the weapons is you never know what they're going to bring and you never know what the other person's going to have, right?
Yeah.
So it leads to a little bit of unpredictability, but that unpredictability is where I thrive.
Very cool. Very cool. I look forward to seeing you in some kind of hardcore matches kind of coming, in the future here. So, who's the toughest opponent you've wrestled so far in your career?
Toughest opponent. I'd probably have to say Jackie Lee. Um, he's not someone that people initially think as someone that's super big or intimidating or tough. But when we talk about resilience, Jackie Lee is at the top of the board. I mean, at our TLC match at the Commodore Ballroom, I gave him a pile driver through a table. And I have no idea how, but later in the match, he was standing. And I don't know if the medical personnel at that show were doing their job correctly because they should have stabilized his C spine and made sure he was okay. But somehow they let him get up, and unfortunately, they won the titles back. But it is what it is.
Well, that sounds like a very hardcore match, and that was at where?
That
Where
was
was?
at the Commodore Ballroom in Vancouver.
Oh wow, crazy.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you too. Last time we chatted, you and Nolan James were very aligned, and he was ringside at all your matches. And so I just wanted to get a sense of, like, now that you're injured, kind of sidelined, is this relationship sustaining? Are you guys still hanging out? Are you guys still working together?
First of all, never question me and Nolan's relationship. That man has had my back through thick and thin, and
Okay.
I wouldn't trade him for anybody. And for you to question our relationship and if he's still there for me and if we're still friends just because I'm injured, does a car stop driving because it hit a pothole? No. Does a plane stop flying because it hit turbulence? No. Does Maxwell Benson turn on Nolan James because it hurt his knee? Hell no. You got to think before you speak. I mean, come on, ask me some good questions. Good lord.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll take that criticism. I guess, I just he's kind of doing the commentary thing too at the shows, and so I didn't really see you guys hanging out together a lot, and so I just was, more expressing concern as opposed to making a judgment. I'm rooting for you guys. I think you guys are a formidable team together. So
I
I
think the only concern that you should have right now is concern for your well being, unless you take Nolan James's name out of your mouth.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, maybe we should move on to a different line of questioning.
I think so. Yeah.
Get off of that a little bit. So, let's ask some more personal questions, maybe, if you're okay with that. The fans really want to know what sort of things you're doing now that you're kind of injured, not wrestling as much. How are you filling up your time? What sort of stuff do you do when you're not wrestling?
The main thing I'm doing right now is studying wrestling tape, just watching matches, making sure I can do everything I can. Even though I'm not 100% physically, I'm still 100% mentally, and I can still do that research. And the rest of my time is going into maintaining my physique as much as I can. So, eating clean, making sure my diet's very healthy, as well as doing the painful rehabilitation of my knee. As much as it sucks, it's very important, and just trying to build that strength back so that when I'm 100%, I can come back and wrestle at the same level that I was.
Okay, yeah, that seems really fair. So, in terms of your physical abilities at this point in the gym, like, how far along are you? Are you able to do things like squats? Can you run? Where are you at with that?
So I'm starting to be able to run short distances and lift small amounts of weight. Nothing near where I was before. And I still can't do squats yet because my knee is still giving me issues. But hopefully within the next month or so, I'll be able to be working out 100% capacity again.
Awesome. Well, I mean, if anybody could do it, it's you. You're highly motivated. as we have discussed. Okay, so let's talk about, let's see, what else have I got here? Um, we have a new set of questions for 2025, and some of these questions are because they're a little more philosophical or that sort of thing. And so one of those questions is, if you could travel anywhere in the world right now, buy a ticket and go anywhere, where would you go?
Hmm. Probably Japan. Definitely one of my favorite places in the world, food wise, culture wise, and wrestling wise. I mean, they have some of the best wrestling in the world over there, I believe. And uh, wrestling for Noah is very high on my list of things I want to accomplish in my career. And one of my dream opponents is actually Nakajima, who works for New Japan Pro Wrestling, or sorry, who works for Noah. And so hopefully I'll be able to get over across the seas and wrestle for Japan eventually.
That would be so cool. A lot of people, a lot of the wrestlers that I talk to, have expressed an interest in going to Japan for sure. And yeah, obviously a large part of that is their pro wrestling culture there, which is like, it's pretty crazy, right? Like people are really, really into it, which I love
Mhm.
so much, right? So how about one of the universal topics that we have on the show is food, because we all eat. We have that in common for the most part. So if you could eat only one food for the rest of your life, what would that one food be?
Chicken and rice, more specifically shawarma. It's very flavorful and it fits the macros that I need to stay healthy and stay in good shape.
That's awesome. Chicken and rice, no vegetables?
No, who eats vegetables? Come on.
Sorry. Okay. No, that's cool. So what about I know you are a very active person, but is there anything that you would consider like an emotional support TV show that you like to watch when you're
I think people that need emotional support TV shows maybe should go to therapy or work on their own emotions because if you can't regulate your own emotions and you have to rely on a TV show, I think that's a pretty weak mindset.
Okay, yeah. That's fair. That's a yeah, again, fair. What I'm afraid to ask this next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I'm a little bit crazy, but what's something that really annoys you?
I mean, look in the mirror. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I walked right into that one. Sorry.
Yeah.
I probably should have thought that one through a little better. Let's talk about something a little more pleasant. What is your favorite season? Like spring, winter, fall, summer? Not seasoning.
Definitely winter.
Winter.
Just to be able to see the miserable look on everyone's faces when they're freezing cold. It brings me so much joy. And while other people may be freezing in the cold and miserable, that miserable look on their face and everything, it warms me up inside. So while everyone else is freezing their butts off, I'm nice and cozy.
Uh, n- cool. Winter. It's winter now, so that works
Yeah.
out. You're in your favorite season. I'm so happy for you. You live here in Victoria, BC, although that's not where you are currently, but you do live in Victoria, BC. What's your favorite part about Victoria?
Favorite part about Victoria? I mean, are we talking about the same city? Favorite part? I mean, you least favorite part is probably more accurate, right?
Oh, okay. What's your least favorite part?
I mean, have you looked at the roads? I mean, every road has a bike lane, every road has an advanced left turn. The traffic is backed up for hours if you want to take a 20-minute drive. I mean, speak about infrastructure. This city has probably the worst infrastructure in Canada. And you want to ask me what the best part about this city is? The best part about this city is when I get to leave it and wrestle in another town.
Okay. Okay. Not a fan of Victoria. That's okay. All right, we are going to take another quick little commercial break. Hopefully, you will stick around, Max Benson, for one more segment, and hopefully, you folks out there will stick around too. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caring About Wrestling. And we are back with more Caring About Wrestling. I'm Karen the Intern. My guest tonight is Mad Max Benson. So glad you could join me for this show tonight. We've got one more segment and a lightning round with the new 2025 lightning round questions. It's all very exciting. Okay, so what never fails to make you laugh? Do you laugh? Are you
Pardon me, you cut out.
Oh, sorry. What never fails to make you laugh?
Oh, it never fails to make me laugh. Watching someone get dropped on their head. I mean, anytime there's severe head trauma, I just crack up. Can't help it.
You are into head injuries.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, head injuries make you laugh. Okay, that's okay, cool. Do you collect anything? Are you a collector of anything?
Mm, I've collected a few memorabilias from my match, mainly bloodstained tape, a couple of thumbtacks. Nothing crazy though.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not crazy at all. Um, really? Bloody tape and thumbtacks?
Yeah, you just need souvenirs sometimes just to remember the beating you put on people.
Okay, okay. Um, So I imagine you had other things that you were doing with your life for a brief time before you were a wrestler. What was the very first job you ever had in your life?
First job I ever had. Well, I was enforcer at my school for quite a bit. So there were some people that weren't so friendly that would take kids' lunch monies, and it was my job to make sure that they stopped taking that lunch money. And for that protection, I got half of the person's lunch money. So I was able to eat good myself, get all the pizza and hot dogs I wanted from my school. And the other kids, they got to have half their money still. So it was a win-win situation.
Well, that's fantastic. You were really providing a service, it sounds like.
Absolutely. I'm a man of the people.
I love that. I think people might have the wrong impression of you sometimes.
Oh,
Maybe.
for sure.
Do you believe in having a 5-year plan?
I believe 5 years is irrelevant. I believe when you're looking that far down the line, you're being disingenuous to the moment you're in, and you're thinking, oh, in 5 years I'll do this and this and this, but you don't currently have the ambition or the drive to do the things you need day to day. But in 5 years you're going to accomplish this and this, but you should act like every day is your last day.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. So I kind of like that, and I think just based on the state of the world right now, it might be risky to think 5 years out because a lot of stuff could go horribly wrong between now and then, I guess. But what life lessons have you had to learn the hard way in your life?
The hard way. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, nothing really ever comes too hard to me. I mean, everything in life has been pretty easy. All the lessons I've learned, I mean, when you're as smart as I am, I mean, I said this before, when you're as smart as I am, you don't really make mistakes. So you don't really have to learn things the hard way. If you think about things beforehand, you don't make those mistakes.
That is, yeah, that's good advice. So people should just really think beforehand.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Yeah, I know that's not your strong suit, but thinking is definitely very important.
okay, yeah, no, that's fair. Do you believe in astrology?
That stars of power? Okay, let's ask some serious questions, okay?
I'm just curious. What do you know? What your sign is? This isn't me asking. It's your fans. They want to know.
I'd show you my sign, but it'd probably get cut off of YouTube.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, do you live by any like words of wisdom, or do you have like a personal motto or like a mission statement for yourself? Like,
Well, I can't say the full quote, but I know some people can extrapolate information.
okay,
So something I live by is if one man can hold you down, two can.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's yeah. What do you think happens to you after you die?
I don't think anything happens. I think that's it. And I think some people they like to comfort themselves by thinking, "Oh, I'm going to go to heaven or I'm going to go to this place or I'm going to go to the field of reeds when I die." But the thing is, they're just trying to live their lives as passively as possible, hoping for something better because they know they don't have the ambition, the drive or the wherewithal in themselves to make their lives great. So they just hope that something later on after their life is great. When I believe the only thing that we have is the time we have now, and it's our choice to make that as best as possible.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's perfect. I tend to agree with you. I think when your candle goes out, that's it. That's it. It's over. The only thing you're doing maybe is providing energy to the worms when you are buried. If you choose to go that way, I don't know. Okay, so if you could do anything in the world besides wrestling as a career, what would it be?
Besides wrestling, I'd probably have to pick being a pediatric nurse just
Oh,
because yeah, because they get that opportunity to stick needles into kids and hear them cry all day. I mean, that's sounds like a phenomenal job to me.
yeah. Whew, okay. Do you believe in life on other planets? Do you think there's aliens out there?
I think that question would be better suited for Eli Surge when you get him on here. I can't speak on his world, but I think we both know that there's something in those hats that might be causing a chemical imbalance in his brain.
Which makes him believe in aliens or
I don't know what
something
that man
else?
believes in. I have no idea what that man believes in, but all I know is I'm not wearing those lead coated hats, so all clear up here.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. So if you could relive one moment in your life thus far, what would that moment be?
Hmm. One moment. That's really hard to pick. I mean, it would definitely either have to be my Stairway to Hell match with Inferno or my No Holds Barred match with Rose, because just getting to beat someone up and bloody them up is just that's perfect. That's beauty. So what more could you want?
Okay, so just getting a chance to relive a moment of kicking the crap out of somebody.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are you a fan of animals?
No.
No. Okay, so
Animals? God,
yeah,
I'm barely a fan of half of the people I meet. Animals? No. No. Get that hair away from me. Get those ugh.
you're just not into any of that. Okay, so you don't have any pets then, I'm guessing.
No, no.
No pets.
A parasitic being that just relies on you to feed and take you out all the time. No, no. I could never deal with a parasite like that.
Okay. Okay, interesting. I okay. So no kids then, I'm guessing either for you at the moment.
Oh God.
No. Okay.
No.
No.
I if I had a kid, that kid would be pile drived about 5 times a week. Do you think I'd be a good parent?
Uh Possibly not, especially considering what you said about being a pediatric nurse. I'm really just rethinking this whole line of questioning. But we're almost through the interview, so we're just going to keep plowing ahead here. How many push-ups can you do, Max Benson, over the course of a day, say?
More than you can.
Well,
Good
that
Lord.
probably
I
goes
mean,
without saying, but like ballpark it.
I don't know, probably like 5,000 easy.
1,000 push-ups in one
Yeah.
day.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's going light though. I mean, I haven't really pushed that hard, but 5,000 on an easy day.
5,000 on an easy day. Okay. And that's without probably breaking much of a sweat, I'm guessing, right? Like you barely even feel that. Yeah.
No, no.
Okay. Um, what is better, to be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond?
I think that question's a bit redundant because I think to be the best, you have to be a big fish in a big pond. I mean, there's no accolades in being a big fish in a small pond. I mean, anyone can be a big fish around minnows, all right? It's when you're swimming with sharks that's when you know who you really are.
Okay. Okay. You're definitely challenging a lot of my beliefs tonight. I'm rethinking a few things. I don't know if you intended to do that, but I'm here for it. What's one question that you wish people would ask you when they meet you for the first time?
One question. Can I give you $20? That's probably a good question.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Can I give you $20? Yeah, that's perfect. That kind of is bringing us to the end of my questions. Now we are rounding the corner into the lightning round, and we've got a whole new set of lightning round questions for 2025. So, Max Benson, are you in for a little lightning round before we say goodbye tonight?
Sure. I'm down for it.
Fantastic. All right, you got 20 questions. Let's see how many of these we can get through. Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Optimist or pessimist?
Optimist.
Favorite board game?
Monopoly.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite snack food?
Peanut M&Ms.
Ooh, I like that. Favorite smell?
Blood.
Favorite color?
Red.
The next question is favorite animal, but we already
None.
established you're not into that.
None.
So, apples or bananas?
Bananas.
Cilantro, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Texting or talking?
Talking.
Favorite day of the week?
Saturday.
Last song you downloaded?
No idea.
Invisibility or super strength?
Invisibility. I already have super strength.
Favorite kind of soup?
You cut out. Sorry.
Oh, favorite kind of soup.
Favorite kind of soup. Probably chicken noodle.
Love that. Ask permission or beg forgiveness?
Uh, I wouldn't do either, but probably ask for forgiveness because I never beg.
Okay. Favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday. I don't really celebrate holidays, so can't even think of any.
Okay. First celebrity crush?
Uh, I don't know. I'm still celibate, so I wouldn't know.
Okay. Cake or pie?
Pie.
Favorite number?
69.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the lightning round. Thank you so much, Max Benson. That was a great job. If folks want to find you on the internet, where can they do that?
Maxwell Benson PW on Instagram. Maxwell Benson PW on Twitter or X. And then Max Benson, or I believe it's Maxwell Benson actually on Facebook as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again, Max, for being such a fantastic guest this evening. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
I wish I could say the same.
Fair, fair. And best of luck with your rehab with your knee as well. We'd love to see you back in the ring for sure. All right, folks, that brings us to the end of another episode of Caring About Wrestling. We will see you next time. Bye. Like, subscribe, and comment.